أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله فيا الصلاة فيا الصلاة فيا الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Alhamdulillah. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah. Wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasul. Sallallahu alayhi wasallam and wa ba'd. For Allah's name, the merciful benefactor, the merciful redeemer, all praise is due to Allah. All praise belongs to Allah, Lord of all systems of knowledge, most gracious, most merciful. I bear witness that there's no God worthy of worship except Allah, subhanahu wa ta'ala, highly glorified is He, the Most High. And I bear witness that Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Muhammad ibn Abdullah, a little over 1,400 years ago, is His servant, His messenger, and the seal, the completion of what follows the traditional salutations be upon Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the prayers to his companions, those who followed him in the ranks of the first Tabi'in. And for that we say Ameen. I'd like to greet everyone who's here. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. That is, may the peace be with you. It is a pleasure, it is an honor to be here on Jummah, Yom Jummah, the day of assembly for the believers, Friday. A very important day, the most important day for the Muslims in our lunar calendar. The said of the day, this day is better than our two Eids, Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha. A day where we leave off all business and traffic, that which we give bayat to. We do give bayat, not to the imam, but our work, our play, whatever we give allegiance to, we break for this time period to hasten ourselves to the place of worship, be it the masajid, which we're in, or the musalla, or even in our homes. And we establish wherever Jummah, the prayer service is being established, we direct ourselves to that place. And for that, it's out of obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then immediately after we finish this ritual, we return to what is of benefit to us and what is of benefit that we are striving to seek of the bounties of this earth, this material earth that Allah has given us too. Not only to be in the masajid, but to leave and go back to work, open up your stores, open up your businesses, go back to school, whatever the case may be, we go back to that after we complete this prayer, this ritual. So for that, we're here at Masjid Yusuf Shah Islamic Center. We're very pleased to be here on Friday on the beautiful weather, mashallah, that we have outside. So definitely we're thankful for Allah for that as well. And we're thankful to be here with you, the believers. And for those who are not here, not able to physically be here, we want to keep them in our du'as and our prayers. We know we're still in the midst of this global pandemic, and it has taken a lot of our pioneers out early, or whatever happens to Allah's qadr. Obviously we don't control it, but we do want to pray for those who are sick, those who are in the hospital, those who are at home, maybe homesick, homebound, and ask Allah to grant them ash-shifa, the cure and the healing that they need, so we can see them again in the masajid soon, inshallah. I mean, today topic or theme we want to focus on is we must plan and map out our future. And for the first part of this khutbah, we want to focus ourselves and reminders of our dear beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and what is the Kitab Allah, the Quran, has given us the guidance to how we should navigate and prepare ourselves for the now and then for the future. Because what we're doing in the now is going to count towards us getting into Jannah al-Firdus, inshallah. We don't know if we'll get to Jannah al-Firdus. It's not guaranteed. So that's why we work hard in this life so we can prepare ourselves to go to Jannah al-Firdus. You know, it's Allah's mercy that we make it there. There is a hadith that says that there was a man who was basically like a foot away from, or less from paradise, and a foot away from Jahannam. And what saved him was what he was being consistent in. You find one thing that you can be consistent with, either your salat, fasting, whatever the case may be. Find one thing to be consistent with in this way of life, and Allah will reward you for that. It's a very easy way of life. So we want to focus our attention on Surah Al-Nahl, the bees, Surah 16, Ayat 97. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. It says, whoever works righteousness, whatever male or female, while he or she is a true believer, verily to him we will give a good life. And we shall pay them certainly a reward in proportion to the best of what they used to do. So we have limited time. We have limited time in this space that we're in now. Very limited time. And it says that we should travel this earth as we're a traveler, to be a traveler. Don't get too comfortable being here. We get a taste, Allah will give us a taste of paradise here in terms of our being, our spiritual being, our mindsets. But He also will give us, if we earn it, a taste of Jahannam, hellfire. A reminder, like, listen, you need to get back on course, man, before you get too crazy, man. We don't want to leave this earth in regrets. We don't want to leave this earth missing our salats, missing our messing up during Ramadan intentionally. I'm not talking about intentionally. I'm talking about intentionally doing it. Intentionally doing things that take us away from being part of the right hand. Those servants, Allah says to be part of the right hand. Right? Not literally the right hand, but in terms of the companions or the followers, the servants, those who sacrifice, those who leave off things that take us away from the obedience and regard that we have for Allah, taqwa, take us out of that. That is the companions of the left. We don't want to be with them. We want to be with the companions of the right. Those who are righteous, those who are serving a service, those who volunteer, those who pray, those who fast, those who go to Hajj, those who give in zakat, sadaqah, even extra when you can. That doesn't, you're not breaking your pockets, but you're giving something extra. Because why? Because you want to be in a good position. You want to position ourselves to be in a good position to go back to Allah. All of this, what we're doing right now, is the prep. This is the prep. We meal prep, right? Everyone's talking about meal prepping now. So we want to prep ourselves for the next life. It's no guarantee that we're going to live to 80, 90 years old. May Allah bless those who have lived to 80, 90 years old, 100 years old. But that's not a guarantee to none of us. So our time in retrospect in this life is very short. Very short. So we have to take advantage of the time that we have, as the Quran says, Surah Al-Asr. Surah Al-Asr talks about time. And it mentions that is a condition. It says, verily, by the token of time through the ages, surely man is in loss, except, this exception is a condition. It's a condition, it's an exception, except for those who do what? Have faith and do righteous deeds and join together in the promotion of those things. The promotion. The Muslims, we are in the business of promoting good. Whatever we see good, we want to promote it. And how we promote it? Through our character, through how we engage with each other, how we engage with our neighbors, how we engage with our families. You don't have to go up there and say, I'm a Muslim. It should read coming from your body language. You don't have to jump to say you're a Muslim. You don't have to say that. You know, it's a disposition in our hearts. It's a disposition in our minds, our thoughts. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it was reported that said, hasten to do good deeds before there comes tribulations like pieces of a dark night, when a man will be a believer in the morning and an unbeliever by the night. Or he will be a believer in the evening, and by the morning, he's an unbeliever. Selling his religious commitment for worldly gain. So we don't want to be that. That's a borderline hypocrite. The Quran addresses that. That there were a group of people with the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, a group of people, and they was with him in the day, but when they go back to their posse, their friends, they're like, oh, he was just jesting. With the Prophet, we're not later for that. Later for all that. La ilaha illallah. Later for that, man. Later for charity, later for salat. We want a piece of this action, this worldly gain. We want to keep selling what we're selling to the people. We know it's wrong, but we want to sell it to them anyway. Take a look around. You don't we have to look far. In our own communities, in the media, in the culture. We're being sold something. We've been sold a direction, a condition to accept it. Accept being morally corrupt. Disrespect your parents. No order in the house. Go out the streets here, make some money. Fast pace, fast life. Have like a bunch of children out of wedlock, and that's cool. We're cool with that. We're cool with living in those conditions. No, that's not good. That's not conducive for a healthy human life. But it's being promoted to us as something that is acceptable. It says, verily, be careful of the shaitan, because he makes the wrong seem very appealing. They say very fair seeming, but very appealing. It's attractive. You wonder what you see all the people with money, cars, women. Oh, that looks great. I want a piece of that action. But you don't know what the person's spiritual life. Are they spiritually happy? Do they have a spiritual foundation? No. But it's so appealing to us. It's marketable. These are psychologists at work when in terms of marketing wrong behavior. Chief psychologists. The weak scheme, but they mastered the weak scheme to a point where a lot of us now are starting to cave in on issues that we know as Muslims we can't cave in on. There's no room. No room to cave in on. And we start to cave in, we start to become more weak, and we show our children and those who are coming up, the generation Alpha, we call it the generation Adam, those who were born around 2010, came in recently. They just was born here. Some were just born here and they're seeing us now in a pandemic. They're seeing us now, they have to wear masks. They don't know what's going on. They don't know what's going on. Everyone's coming in here innocent. They don't know what's going on, but they're seeing a lot of chaos. So they're trying to process what's going on, right? But they're seeing the adults, the parents, and those around them. We're caving in as parents and as adults to the scheme of the Sayyid, or the Shaitan. So the Prophet reminds us to hasten ourselves to the promotion of good deeds and do good deeds and stay steadfast. Stay steadfast. Stay afloat. Don't drown. It's so easy for us to drown. Allah has a life preserver. If you want to grab it, He'll toss you a life preserver. But you have to save yourself. You have to be wanting to be saved. You have to be on the side of Allah's mercy and His forgiveness. You, not Allah, us. What does that mean? That we have a responsibility. We have to take ownership of our situations and of our conditions in our environment. We have to take advantage of that and ownership of that. Because this way of life is a comprehensive way of life. Very comprehensive. Every answer that we're looking for in terms of how to maneuver in the society is given to us in the manual, the Quran. This is our manual. It's our life guide. Allow Allah to be your coach. Allow Allah to be your coach. For those who play football, basketball, any organized sports here, right? Track, you have a coach. And that coach is going to show you, it's going to work you out first. It's going to work you out, get you in condition, right? Condition you, right? And then they're going to show you how to win. How to win successfully and be efficient at it. As a team sport or as an individual sport, right? So Allah shows us in the Quran and gets us ready to be conditioned. So we have to condition ourselves, our hearts, purifying our intentions, purifying our spirits, cleaning out our minds. Don't come to prayer with a mind befogged, not just with intoxicants that we know of, but also our thoughts can be very intoxicated. You don't have to be off the 40 ounce. You know, you don't have to take a spliff. But our very thoughts of either doing that or doing something else is clouding our perception. So Allah says we got to condition you, get you clean. And that's what Al-Islam has done for us as a people. It's gotten us clean. Clean. Allah prepared our people for Al-Islam proper. He prepared us. He conditioned us. He got us ready. We did not go through 400 odd years of oppression, slavery, Jim Crow, and now for us to regress, to going back to be where we were, lost, drowning. Allah said, here, life preserver, grab it. Don't be afraid. We weren't afraid to grab it because we were searching for a lot of our parents, those who came through the very peculiar movement of the Nation of Islam. Through that movement, we grabbed hold of it because they saw something that, it's like, I gotta get my life in order, man. I gotta get my life in order. Like, it's crazy right now. So they grabbed hold of something, didn't know much about it, other than what was heard on the street corner, other than what was heard was being promoted. through the paper, Muhammad speaks, through this, through the medium. Didn't know much about it, but it was just something about it is like, all right, if I'm going to keep going down this track, or I'm going to go down a little more mature, a little more morally upright position. But that was just phase one of the conditioning. Got to get conditioned that first. Got to go through that condition first. And Allah was merciful to send us, while before the Nation of Islam, to send us reminders of the other people that we had come through our experience. The Frederick Douglasses, the Nat Turners, the Sojourner Truths, the Garveys, the Du Boises, the Booker T's, et cetera, et cetera. Those were all like, here's your life preserver, remind you of something, grab hold of something. All right? But then the second part of the conditioning came in the right time. I'm going to talk about that in the second part. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Allahumma salli Muhammad wa ali Muhammad kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ali Ibrahim. Allahumma barak Muhammad wa ali Muhammad kama barakta ala Ibrahim wa ali Ibrahim. Bil alamin innaka Hamidum Majid. Ameen. Assalamu alaikum. All right. Now, the second part of our preparation, our conditioning as a people. We here at the Yusuf Shah Islamic Center, named after a pioneer. Named after a pioneer who served in the ranks, diligent servant, diligent captain, did the work to promote what was going on at the time, served well, served the first and up into his life, served into the second phase before his passing. So we're here in a very historical place, and this is Islamic Heritage Month, the month of October. So we're in a very good place historically. So in preparation, Allah has to prepare us to now come into or become reintroduced to Al-Islam proper. Our ancestors sailed down the Atlantic Ocean to the Caribbean first stop, and then to America the second stop, right? You had Al-Islam, the proof is in the pudding. Go to the churches, see the carvings of Arabic. Go to the Caribbean, you see the influence of Al-Islam there. From our ancestors, right? Taken, no more Al-Islam, no more morals. We was just taught you were less thereof. We were less thereof, less than animal. Treated as such. So Allah said He's going to be merciful to a people that's oppressed. People that's oppressed get Allah's mercy and His protection. He said, when comes the help of Allah and victory? Well, the victory came. It came. We had to endure, and Allah allowed us to endure and to get the fruit, the mercy and His blessings out of being patient and enduring and making those prayers in those slave ships, in the bellies of those slave ships, and making those prayers when the master wasn't looking around. So we were awarded for that. We were protected and given the second conditioning. And that came in the leadership of Imam Bilal Muhammad. For all of those years of sacrifice, leadership, it was time for us to now come into not only al-Islam proper, but also those are Generation Adam outside. That's Generation Adam outside right now. What we're hearing is Generation Adam, right? Going to school, right? Or protest. We were given Imam Muhammad not just for the religious teachings, the body of work, body of knowledge, that was left for us to study and to apply. But we were given a leader that encouraged us all to a couple of things, a lot of things. But one of that was which, once we established al-Islam here, which we have done, we have established al-Islam with the centers that we have across the country, where the old temples became masajids, right? Disregard the false teachings that were by his father. Keep those that make sense. But it's time to evolve that as we take you from that condition into the new condition. So we have had schools, right? We have had businesses, right? We have had centers of entertainment or entertainers, athletes. We produce all that, right? But now in 2021, where are we in terms of our planning or our mapping of our future? That's the question. That doesn't require an answer now from you all, but it's something to think about when we go home after the Jummah. Something to talk about with your family. Where are we with that? The Imam called us to healthy citizenship. Healthy citizenship, healthy human life. Mind you, I didn't say politics. I didn't say Democrat or Republican. Imam never said that. He said healthy citizenship. Because why? It's bigger than just the two-party system. You don't want to get hung up in the two-party system too much. Right? Healthy citizenship. The Imam said, we're going to follow the best. That is what God tells us to do. God says, follow the best thereof. And talking about the religion itself, the religion invites many levels to it regarding good sense or intelligence, and many levels also regarding decency or moral nature. It does not want to place burdens on anyone that an individual can't manage. It doesn't burden the person who's not interested in education. They don't have an interest. They don't have any interest to become students and excel in education. This religion does not put a burden on them that they cannot bear. It has an invitation on them to have a family, to have a job, to be honest and decent, and not be worried with higher knowledge. This religion has room for everybody. I think this is in the Bible too. But it expects you to be decent, to want to have good behavior. It expects that of all of us. It expects us to want to have good character and not to be feared by others because of our bad character. They shouldn't fear that will rob them or corrupt their neighborhood. It wants from all of us decency and human innocence, where you're not having any bad thing on your mind to carry out affecting others. That is what religion wants. That is what our religion wants. As I said, our religion invites people from all levels of interest, from the smallest of the man who just wants to eat and sleep and have a nice place to rest and wake up and go to work and come back home to his family and do that until he dies. The religion invites that person. The man who carries the burden of the neighborhood on his mind, that he wants to see the neighborhood improved, he wants to see life better for people, the religion invites him too. The man who questions the logic and good sense in things and is not satisfied with the world as he's seeing it and thinks the world is not quite as sensible as it ought to be, God also invites that person to come. So we have an invitation. Are we satisfied with just going home, just working a 9 to 5, having a family? It's good things. Those are good things. It's good. Makes sense, right? But are we ignoring what is happening around us right now? Because we're so engulfed with the fact that, hey, I got to work a 9 to 5. Hey, I got a family. Hey, I got to pay the mortgage. Hey, I got to pay the bills. I got to do this. I got to put my children to school, right? I got to do all this, right? But Allah invites us to a greater calling than just that too. That's good. But the greater calling is that Al-Islam is the answer to our neighborly needs. Our neighborly needs and those small acts of kindness in our neighborhood. Those small acts of charity go far. So we have to ask ourselves at this point again, what are we doing to mapping out our future? Because as everyone gets older in this space right now, time is elapsing. It's going. We can't stop time from happening. We can't stop. I can't say I want to go back to undergrad. I'm done with undergrad. You may say you want to relive it, but Allah has graduated us. Every time we wake up, Allah's given us another set of hours to do something amazing with our time that's pleasant in His sight, right? Let me ask, so what's practical? What's the practicality here? What are we calling ourselves to, right? Well, let's take a look at inventory of what we have in our communities. Do we have, because the first thing is to build communities, we have to have healthy families, right? Do we have healthy families? Healthy marriages? Are people getting married? I know some brothers here, you want to get married, right? Yeah. If you're not married, you want to get married. You should, right? And not just, of course, the Prophet said we should want to get married to be counted among his companions, huh? But also, we want to get married to build that structure, that healthy family structure that can help fix. Because every healthy marriage that we have helps to fix the generational trauma that we suffer from. Think about it. Think about it. So the more we promote healthy marriages and save marriages, if they can be saved, but save marriages from divorce, if not necessary. If it's not necessary, let's not go that route. Try not to go that route. Most of the time, what happens in relationships, married or in work or in friendship, is always something miscommunicated. Our needs are miscommunicated. Our wants are miscommunicated. We don't want that. How does it look that we go to 9 to 5 working for Sam or Bob, and we have the perfect communication with Sam and Bob? We mean to tell me we don't have the perfect communication with our spouses when we go home, our children? But should we love working for Sam and Bob. Oh, we have to because we got to get paid. Yeah, we get it. We all got to get paid. But I'm talking about carrying that same level of respect that you have for your boss should be translating in our house, in our homes, in our communities. Not just with Sam and Bob, just to get a paycheck on Friday. We know today's payday for most. You're getting paid, right? No. We don't want to be just comfortable with that, right? Okay, family life. Now what's next? A lot is also tied to education. Education. This is all tied to and goes back to education. Are we servicing the needs of our future generations by educating them? Generation Adam and up. Because if we're sending them to these guys outside, good luck. You know, I work with kids. I know. You know, I work with kids, young, especially brothers, young men, African American men. You know what? You know what's going on? We know what's going on. We need to wake up to it. Who's signing up for the mentorship program I run? Their mothers. Where's dad? No dad. No presence. Right? Divorce, maybe single parent, maybe this, maybe that, maybe the father's in jail. Who knows, right? But no stability. It was like, we gotta get our son into some program so we can steer him in the right direction. 5th graders. These are 5th graders. Not even high school. I do high school too, but these are 5th graders. It's dangerous. It's scary, right? It should scare us. Not to scare us just to be like, oh man, I'm scared. No, not to just react neither. We need to reassess, where are we in terms of education? The Imam talked about education as our number 1 priority. Why did he stress that? Because everything that we want, that the business aspect, the government aspect, we want to be involved with civics, we want to be involved with this, we want to have healthy marriages. Well, that all requires education. We have some functioning Claire Muhammad schools out of the many that we used to have in the University of Islam. And we have some weekend schools, right? Barely functioning. I'm not making this up. Go do the assessment yourself. Find out. I'm not making this up. Barely functioning. And then we wonder why. You know, your children come home from public school and they ask you, "Hey, Daddy, what's Mommy? What about the homosexuals?" And then you're like, you don't know how to answer it. You may not know how to answer. Oh yeah, they read us a book today. My teacher is this, my teacher is that. And then you wonder why, oh, my child's being exposed to all of this stuff, this, that, and the third. Yeah, because we're not respecting the fact that our leadership has called us to educating our own. See, when we leave off the leadership and disrespect it and disregard it, you're going to have to deal with the consequences of the world. Because if we don't gravitate to Generation Adam, you know who's going to gravitate to Generation Adam? They're doing it right now. The artists, the entertainers, you know, they say it's okay to do this, it's okay to be that, it's okay to do this. No, it's not. No, it's not. What about our businesses? We used to have steak and takes. Some is still in Newark. A couple of brothers still got the trucks out, right? Used to be some storefronts, right? Now there's some noble efforts going on, sure. You know, the We Buy Black movement of Sharif Abdul Malik, our dear beloved brother, young brother who has done amazing work. But taking an assessment of our local situation, What are we doing with that? Everyone talks about they want to make money. I want to make money. I don't want to work for Uncle Sam no more. Yeah. And then we have young men, right, on the corner who have great math skills. They talk about, we want to chop this up, weigh this, weigh that. Great math skills. Hello. Would it make sense for those who have businesses or those who have the idea to establish a business to take them young men off of that corner and put them to work and make halal money? Because not all money is halal. They said money is the root of all evil. No. If you make it that, then it will become that. If money becomes your number one priority, that you stop forgetting about Allah, if any of this world becomes your number one priority over Allah, you're destined to fail. And you're going to be miserable doing it. Yeah, I got money, I got all this stuff, all this material wealth. But when we go back to Allah, none of that is going with you. And right? And then what about our cultural expression, right? Our cultural expression. What are we doing with that? Little Nas X? That's what we listening to? You don't have to be scared, man. If you listen to it, I'm not pointing any fingers, but that's the Imam even said that told some artists, told us too as a congregation, but he told some of the artists in our community. He said, if you make music that promotes decency, humanity, that will travel further than me doing a khutbah, or any imam right now, myself included, doing a khutbah at this rostrum right now. We don't have to explain that. We know it. You go to Africa, they talk about Michael Jackson in Africa. Huh? You go around the world, they talk about this artist, Tupac, all these guys. International. They made one song. One song travels the whole airwaves. Think about it. But they didn't control their own destiny. Someone else controlled their own destiny. And when you allow someone else to control your own destiny, you can't make the art that you want. You will never be able to do it. So, what's the solution? Get a hold of your own distribution. Control your own distribution. Control your own content. Create labels. Even if it's independent, don't wait for, we got work. Some people are working on labels now in our community. Some of our more seasoned elders, right? You don't have to wait for them. You gather yourselves, you make your own label. You gather yourselves, you can get charged with your own distribution. Huh? This is true. Stay independent. Forget about these mainstream labels. They're gonna sell you a 360 deal, man. What about our civics? Where are our civics at? Our civics, civic engagement. How are we engaging in our community civically? And I'm not talking about registering to be a Democrat or Republican. No, how are we engaging with both sides? How are we engaging with our communities with sober patriotism, with sober ethics, and the promotion of sober ethics? If wrong is wrong, wrong is wrong. I don't care if it's coming from the liberal or the conservative. Wrong is wrong. And how do we know? The Quran is, some would say, reduce the Quran to the book of ethics, but essentially the Quran is so comprehensive that it includes all of that in a book. And how did the Prophet govern? How did the Prophet govern his people? With the government that he established in Medina. We need to review that constitution rather. How do you make peace with the tribes? Yeah. The civics 101, right? Yeah, so we covered everything. Yeah, we covered everything. So we have our time here on this planet. Let us take advantage of it. Let us take advantage of this time and opportunity that we have of life, the gift of life, the blessing of life that Allah has blessed us with, because we don't want to take nothing for granted. Take nothing for granted. You know, there's people in the hospital right now. There's people who have died. There's people who don't have any limbs. People, like, it's some crazy things, but people are grateful. Some people are grateful. You see people out on the street right now in wheelchairs. They're more grateful than some of us who got 2 legs and 2 arms. We have these bodies, a physical body, as I call it, the interlibrary loan. It doesn't belong to us. Don't belong to us. So what we do with our bodies now will testify either for us or against us on the last day. So we want to do things that are pleasing to Allah, in the sight of Allah, and stay on that direction, that course, and don't get off that course. I mean, we get off the course, it's okay to get back on it. Just got to grab the rope and that life preserver, though. You got to grab. I got to grab. Allah says that He will never let us go. We let Him go. So let's not let go of the rope of Allah. Let us map out our future, because it starts now. Don't wait till you're 60, 70, 80 years old to start thinking about some of the things we talked about today in the Khutbah. And obviously, we can't talk about everything in the Khutbah, because the purpose of it is to remind us, to leave with some reminders. And the purpose of after the Khutbah is we go home and we have these serious conversations, seriously conversating, seriously building. We should be in constant build mode, to building towards our goals, and building towards the goal to the eventual return is to Allah, and to leave our children, our grandchildren, with something better. Something better, something balanced, something holistic, something that they'll be able to take and they'll be able to establish and keep establishing upon that. No flimsy foundation. We don't want to give our children a flimsy foundation. We don't want to give them half-baked schools, half-baked businesses, half-baked this, half-baked that. Everything's half-baked. We want to give something that's baked. We want to give them something that's raw. What happens if we eat raw meat? You throw up. You get sick. Huh? That's what happens. So we're dealing with a lot of half-baked things. We don't want to be half-baked no more. We don't want to settle for being mediocre no more, just getting by. While everyone else is taking flight to Mars right now. Everyone's building these multi-million, billion-dollar companies right now. You're gonna let them just keep reaping benefit? You don't want to get no share of that? The Muslim don't want to be no share of that? You best believe our other Muslim brothers are just getting a piece of that action. So we have to wake up to our responsibilities, wake up to Generation Adam, so we can give them something when they come of age. They have something to fall into. That's not a trap. Because not a trap. We already know the traps. Some of us of age, we know the traps already. We know the pitfalls. We don't want to go that route. We don't want to give our children that. We want to give them something that's steady, balanced, strong foundation. Built upon what? Taqwa. And remember, in closing, there's a masjid. They said there's a masjid that's not built on taqwa that you shouldn't pray. Huh? There's a place, or there's places built not on taqwa that we should just leave alone. So if we're going to institutions and these institutions are not built upon taqwa, we gotta leave them alone now. And sometimes we have to have the courage. We have to have the courage, even if it's against our own selves on this floor, to hold ourselves accountable and to hold our leaders in this community accountable too. Don't just say and be satisfied if you're not getting what you think we should be getting, say something about it. There's no dictatorship, no oligarchy here. There's no priest class. Any one of us right here can deliver a khutbah. It's not just me, not just Imam Musa. Anyone here that can deliver a khutbah right now should be able to. And I see some young brothers here too. Should be able to do the same thing. Are we allowing them to do that? Are we showing them how to do that? And if they don't know, we should be teaching them how to do that and giving them opportunity to be here. Give them the space to speak their piece, man. Huh? This is it. And we want to thank, in conclusion, to thank you all for coming out and fulfilling your obligation here to Master Yusuf Shah Islamic Center, but most importantly, fulfilling your obligation to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We want to thank Imam Musa Abdul Ali, the resident Imam here, for giving us the opportunity to be here this Friday, Jummah. And we want to pray for keep praying for our brothers and sisters who are not physically able to be in the masjid. We want to pray for those who are who may have COVID, pray that they get a shifa or whatever disease that they have, or even mental disorders, to bring them a space of peace, a space of comfort. We want to ask Allah to guide us and protect us, have mercy on us, have protection on us, guide our families, guide our friends to Sirat al-Mustaqim. We want to ask Allah to bless us to establish this life of al-Islam proper in the shores of North America, to bless us to establish healthy education systems, healthy families, protect our marriages, protect our families. We ask Allah to continue to shower His mercy on us and those in the world, and to bring justice to those who perform injustices across the world. And for that we say, Ameen. Rabbana atina dunya hasanatan wa qina hasanatan min adhaban nar. Allah grant us excellence in this life and excellence in the next, and save us from the torment of the blazing hellfire. Ameen. Come with salat.